Hey guys, welcome to Transitions with Dr. Tam, where every episode of this month is going to be coined Thankful Thursdays. So as you know, here in America, there is a national holiday of Thanksgiving. And while we do know, a lot of us do know, the actual series of unfortunate events that happened during that time, I want to point out the fact that in 2023, I am dedicating this month to acknowledge what I am thankful for. I have all of the reasons in the world to complain, right? And you will hear about some of them. But at the end of the day, things do work out, and I want to be thankful and invite people in that thankful space with me. So what I admonish you, my listeners, to do is be thankful right along with us. So this is going to be a light-hearted month where we're going to just dive into some stories and warm our hearts a little bit and just embrace some things that make us smile. We're going to talk about some epiphanies that maybe we have had over the month. And I'm really excited about celebrating the little things. So get your fall drink, grab a cozy blanket, and let's dive in. So let me start from the beginning. First of all, I'm really excited about the fact that it is raining right now. It's about 5 a.m. It's pouring. This means that I actually get to sleep in today. I generally would be taking my son to track practice at 9 a.m., and that's not going to happen. And when I say that I need the rest, your girl needs the rest. It has been a very, very difficult month. So just the rain, God giving me an opportunity to just chill out for a sec is something that I'm thankful for. But I do want to tell you this story about how a bad thing actually ended up turning out great because I let people in. You guys have heard on another episode where I make hasty decisions and then I regret it later and try to figure out how to figure it out. This time I front loaded my problem with people and their advice, and I'm so grateful. So here's what happened. Last week, I had this very, very impactful meeting with my team. And it first started off with a professional coach that we all have. And I was just telling her about how I feel like I haven't shown up in my leadership. Like I'm getting the job done. I'm able to check things off of my to-do list, but I don't operate like that. I'm not the kind of person who wants to inspire duties for people. I like to inspire purpose in people. And I don't feel like I have shown up that way in this new job. So as she was coaching me and my team, we get together with the book club that we have just to help encourage our leadership skills and our leadership styles. And I brought to them all of my issues. We did an issues list. They taught me some things that I could do differently so that way I could show up. And when I tell you, I had individual meetings that were so productive and so purpose-filled. Oh, I left the other week feeling like a boss. And not a boss because the ladies who report to me were able to accomplish everything that I set out for them to do. No, a boss because I groomed more leaders, and that did something to my spirit. All for 2 days later, me to be out and about and get a call from my daughter that I did not answer at the time because I was preoccupied. I get a call from my daughter and text messages from my son and my daughter talking about my car has this pop-up coming up and now it doesn't work. So of course, when I look at this, I'm about to go and get some candles with the BFF. Nope, that plan got shut down because I got to respond to my children. And no, it wasn't the idea that my kids were the inconvenience, but the car itself. Because who does not want to spend any money on a car is me. I'm very cheap, guys. I like to save my money on things that I don't want to, but I also like to spend my money on other things. And so if I have vacations in mind and boots, because the fall is here and I need those, I don't want to buy a car or fix a car that should be operating just fine. And one thing I can say about my daughter is she's very good on her maintenance. So this is not, she drives reckless and never gets oil changes. No, she's very careful with her car. She takes good care of her vehicle. So the last thing I was expecting is for this car to stall. So I'm glad that she is a troubleshooter because I was a ways away. She ended up having to call one of my other friends, Erin. Thank you for being available. She called Erin to come and just sit with her and Josh while they were waiting for just a response on how to navigate the situation. And she also works with a young man, a great gentleman named Gabriel, who he and his father came because they know a lot about cars and they live in the area. They were able to help with, getting it towed and all that kind of stuff. So thank you to the people who were present, who were there. And I'm so glad that my daughter knows how to be resourceful, just how to figure out who to talk to and all of those kinds of stuff. And insert this, I'm glad that my girl knows good people. Like, she has great friends. This gentleman who she was able to call lives nearby, but he's a really, really nice guy that she works with. And I'm glad that, she makes good friends. Like, she hangs around good people. So that didn't hurt good as well. I raised a good kid. I love it. So yeah, of course, on a Sunday, all of the shops are closed. So we have to leave the car where it is until the next morning to get it towed. And you're going to need a flatbed because the front bumper on BMWs, I hear, are very sensitive. So the guy did not want to tow it with just a latch because then you tear up the car. So that's another thing that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that we ended up outsourcing to people who had integrity, because easily a guy could have just hooked the car up to the back of his truck and dragged it somewhere, and we'd be dealing with a lot more damages. So I'm happy that Ari's friend has integrity, my friends have integrity, and the tow truck guy had integrity. God covered us, to say the least, and I'm very, very happy about that. So now we are approaching Monday morning, and we're going to get this car towed. I am worried out of my mind because I don't know what the cause of this issue is. Of course, I get on Google and I get on YouTube because that's where all the answers are. And on YouTube, what it said for a 2014 X3 is that oftentimes if you get a drivetrain malfunction, it might be spark plugs, it might be cylinders. And yes, that's going to cost me some money, but it's not going to be huge money. So we get the car to the shop. I'm at work. The kids are in school, and we're waiting for an update. The update is we're going to get our foreign car expert in so that way she can make an assessment, because I don't want to misdiagnose the vehicle. But it's looking like it's going to cost a couple of grand because, yeah, the fuel pressure is off and it might be some engine failure. Lucky me. So a few days later, we do end up getting the ultimate assessment. And you guys, over $12,000 of work. Over $12,000 of work. Now, I bought this car used for about the same price that it would cost to fix this vehicle. Do you really think that I want to invest now, if I fix it, 24 grand on a car that might be worth $6 if I sell it? No. Get somebody else to do it. And I'm frazzled. I am frazzled. I am crying, literally, because my youngest son still needs a car. And my oldest, he left his car here because he doesn't need it right now at UNT. But I definitely didn't want to have to buy my daughter a car when I haven't bought my son one yet. And as a mother, sometimes we are torn over what we're able to do for our children because we don't want any one of our kids to feel like they get the least of things or the last of things, because we're always prioritizing another kid's needs because of their immediate issues, right? So that's what I was dealing with. And I was just like, God, why? I just had a great day. I just had a wonderful week. I had a productive session. I left, my job last week and entered into the weekend on this high, all for it to come crashing down. And my honest thoughts were, why can't you just let me be happy? Why can't life just be great? Why do I always have to balance good and bad? And then I began to remember that is what life is. It is good and bad. And when we try to choose one over the other, we rob ourselves of the human experience that good and bad will happen. And oftentimes, neither is our fault. I can't really credit myself for the good that happens either. It's because my team was forthcoming and open and vulnerable. And while I may have created a space or a platform where they could be honest and share with me what their vision and their goals are, they still had to participate in that opportunity. So that is the good that happened because other people fell in line with what it is we were trying to accomplish. On the other side, bad happened. Not anyone's fault. It's just life. It's just life. But in good Tamika fashion, what I thought I would do is fix it. Now I've got to figure out a way to fix it. I just have to figure out a way to fix it. So I have this spreadsheet where my money is, right? And I visit this spreadsheet often because I manage things like, no, we're going to cut this out. We're going to cut that out. I had just done a reassessment of my budget just so I can itemize how much money I'm spending and subscriptions to things and eating out. And I mean, reduced spending tremendously. So I was actually looking forward to seeing a lot more money at the end of the month because of, cutting out some frivolous spending. And now I'm upset because it's like, I don't get to cut that out because what I thought I was saving, I'm now going to be spending on vehicle expenses. But here's the thing. Can't I be grateful that I was prepared to be able to have some wiggle room? Because if I canceled all of these subscriptions and removed Uber Eats off my phone, then I do get to wiggle around a little bit. And if that wiggle around affords me an opportunity to either fix or finance a new vehicle, at least I'm in a situation where I can, because I'm not battling within how to do that and keep all my subscriptions. I'm not battling that and how to eat out all the time. So I've already reconciled that there are some things that I'm going to be giving up. And now I'm actually proud of myself for giving them up. A win is a win. So remember when I said I make hasty decisions? I knew that that wouldn't be wise. So what I did is what my kids did. I called my parents. My kids called me when they needed help, and I called my mom and dad when I needed help. I am so grateful that I still have parents who are very active in my life. While I am an adult, I am their baby, and they take good care of their baby. And so my dad knows quite a bit about cars, but he also manages money very well. So as I was telling him what the mechanic was telling me, he was able to confirm that a lot of what he was saying was true, which was important because here I am, a single woman going to this car shop, trusting their honesty. And I was just happy to know that I wasn't getting got because I really don't know anything about cars. So it was very important that I bounce that back and forth with my dad. So that way I'm not wasting money on something that was actually a much less expensive problem. And they just wanted to, get me. So as we're talking about new options, my dad is able to talk some sense into me about what the next vehicle look like, different cars and car brands that will be more efficient and have less expenses as they experience mechanical issues and just have longevity. My mom is there to help me stay calm. And she's also going to talk some sense into my dad because my dad is just a guy's guy. So he doesn't care if the car has scratches and stuff like that. Whereas me and Barbara, we absolutely do. It's got to still be pretty and functional, right? So I'm really grateful that they were able just to talk some sense into me and really just talk about what the money of all of this will look like. Guess what else? This same team who helped me navigate how to show up as a leader also were available to help me show up as a mother, because one of the things that was plaguing me is, why is it always something? I want to be able to celebrate all year. This is my daughter's senior year. I am celebrating all of the accomplishments my son is accomplishing in track. I know those things cost money. And so as my coworkers were just telling me, number one, Let's validate where you are. You have every reason to be upset. They were also able to relate because they have teenagers as well. They've been through this as well. And they were helping me prioritize what the need is. Tamika, Emery left his car here. Ari can drive that car. And while she doesn't love it, she has access to it. So don't be in a rush to replace her car today. Take some time to think about it. Talk to your credit union first. All these kinds of things. Now, of course, I'm upset because I can't get a car for Josh. Absolutely, you can. Because remember, Tam, Ari's going off to college next year. She's not going to need this car. So whatever car you get, Josh will be able to drive it when she and Emery are away. Oh my God. So now I'm already starting to feel better because my coworkers are talking some sense into me. And check this out. This was the biggest part. This is the biggest part. I'm always worried about how I'm going to get everybody everywhere. While I want my son to participate in all of the extracurricular activities that he enjoys, I am aware that Ariana goes to work. And so she needs to have the vehicle so that way she can get back and forth to work. It's also basketball season and she is a trainer. So she's got to be available for that. And I don't want to inconvenience my son because now he would have to wait for her to get out of basketball practice. And then somebody's got to figure out how to get him home if she's got to rush to work, or if they have a basketball game, how do I get him when the car is still on the campus because she took the bus to the game that's in a different school or whatever. So all of these things are happening, right? Also track practice. I've got to take him back and forth to track practice. And one of the locations is a little bit further from my house. So with traffic, it takes about an hour to get there and 35 minutes to get back if there's no traffic. So all of these things are swarming in my head. And what we're realizing is that when my oldest was here, it was a huge convenience because they both had track practice and he was the driver. But now that he's gone, I'm back to being the driver and my wits are not witting. So here is what Miss Wright told me. When I tell you she is the calm in my storm, I am so grateful to work with her and just love her as a friend. She told me, Tam, you do know that when EJ gets out for Thanksgiving and Christmas break, he'll be back home and available to take Josh back and forth to track practice. College kids get out much earlier than the high school kids, and they go back much later than the high school kids. You're also acting like he's not going to be home for the summer. So in the summer, when there's really the hustle and bustle of track practice and track meets, EJ will be back. He can resume his duties as normal. Did not think about that. But when I say that light bulb moment dried up every tear in my eye, and when I say tear, I am being literal. I was sitting in her office crying. But yes, dried up all the tears. I was so grateful for that. So grateful that just taking the conversation outside of my head opened up the opportunity for me to hear a perspective that, again, I would not have derived at on my own. So I had coworkers who were able to validate my issues because they've experienced it as mothers of teens and young people as well. I had my parents who were able to walk me through what the next steps will look like because they had to walk those steps with my brother and me. And I had my friend be able to just offer me the wisdom of prioritizing the needs of your kids and relieving me of the pressure to show up in ways that aren't necessary at the moment. I do not have to buy 3 cars. Really just don't. I really don't. And in the moments where I do have to take people back and forth to places, that's what I do. I'm their mom. I'm going to take them back and forth to places. But the truth of the matter is that this too will pass. Someday, everybody's going to be self-sufficient. The cars that I'm buying are going to be replaced by the cars that they buy as independent adults. And they're good. Everybody's actually okay. Like, this is not one of those situations where my kids have to drive because they have to take care of me. This is also not a situation where my insurance is about to go up because of an accident. No, this was just the death of a car. But everybody's healthy, everybody's safe, things can be replaced. I can replace the car for minimal cost because it's not like I'm going to buy the child a $40,000 car. No, I am not. I will not. I will not. And that's not even what she's expecting or what anybody needs. So what I'm thankful for on this Thursday is that I am aware of what obstructs my peace, and I am actively pursuing it by not doing those things. I did not make a hasty decision. I could have just pressed submit on an application to buy a car without even following it through. But when my dad said, wait until the mechanic gives you the final assessment, have a conversation with your credit union so you're not having to finance things through their high APR banks, right? I am grateful that I did that. And just hearing some of the epiphanies and the little intricacies that I was missing because I'm just overwhelmed with what the future looks like, but not even taking into consideration that in the present, things are actually better than what I assumed. Oh my gosh, you guys. So I am interested to know, what is it that you guys are thankful for? Or because on this here Thursday, I have no complaints. I am becoming a better leader. I am growing as a mother. I am still prioritizing the needs the way they need to be, and I am outsourcing my problems. I am not carrying the weight of the world unnecessarily because I have people in my life who are willing to do life with me, and I'm proud to say that I'm letting them. Happy Thursday, guys. Make it a great one, and we will see you next week.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I cannot thank you enough for your love and support. Seriously, it means the world to me. So however you are tuning into this podcast, whether it's Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, maybe you're even watching the video version of this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. That way you'll be alerted every time a new episode drops. So again, I want to say thank you for being such an amazing community. We'll see you next time.